Yes, Congressman Abayan.
Well, just for the record, Mr. Speaker, before we approve the joint committee report, the body being constituted as the canvassing body, may I just inquire, Mr. Speaker, as to who is the lawful representative of the 1st District of Northern Samar? Because during the roll call, Mr. Speaker, in the previous session, I was in my room, I heard that my name was not included in the roll call. So I want to make it clear whether this representation is still the recognized...
May I ask for a suspension of session, Mr. Speaker?
Session suspended for 1 minute. Session suspended for 1 minute.
Wala pa namang order ang Supreme Court. Si Dasam nakaupo ngayon.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Session is resumed. Mr. Speaker, as far as we are concerned, the distinguished gentleman, the Honorable Abayo, cannot be recognized at this point in time because as far as our record shows, it's still Representative Dasa. That matter is for the Congress sitting as a legislative body to decide, and it has no it cannot be resolved in this joint session. May we now proceed to...
Mr. Speaker, may I just be heard, Mr. Speaker? I have here with me,
Out of order, please.
I have here with me,
Mr. Speaker,
a copy of the decision.
Mr. Speaker, can we direct the Sergeant at Arms to escort the gentleman out of the session hall, Mr. Speaker?
Well, thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. But I am just exercising my privilege because I have a copy now.
Suspended for 1 minute. Suspended for 1 minute.
We have something to talk about.
Supreme Court reverses, but we never got the copies. It was never officially dismissed. They don't like to explain this here.
So, what he won back or he lost?
He won.
No, in this election.
Talo.
Talo. So, hindi, he will appear in your...
And then, we are Tuesday.
Tomorrow. Because may session tayo bukas. Sa Miyerkules mo. Pero sa may legislative session,
Ako magagawa niyo. Being ordered. Dapat kausapin ako na yung kailangan.
No, I'm not doing anything here.
Actually, it is to his credit.
The legal procedure, when there is a decision of the Supreme Court, as a matter of fact, when the decision of the House
It's to his advantage kung hindi na siya. Kasi he has another
was being promulgated, there was violation because the NDA was
in this election, talo siya.
in open
In
session.
other words, wala siyang
It was made
term
much
talaga.
a violation
Pero talo siya
of the
ngayon.
provisions of the
Akademi.
race that was communicated.
after the, we can suspend. Hindi, meron naman dito. Hindi, merong ditong portion. With, so we have to suspend at a certain time.
Wala pa tayo na. Suspend on page 9. So we suspend on page 9.
On behalf of the House of Representatives, session is resumed, and I call on the Majority Floor Leader to deliver his Neptali Gonzalez III to deliver his sponsorship speech.
On the part of the Senate, the session is resumed.
Mr. Speaker, I am honored to present the report of the Joint Committee on the Canvass of Votes of candidates for President and Vice President in the May 9, 2016 elections, together with the resolution of both houses declaring the newly elected President and Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines. Pursuant to the mandate of the Constitution and in compliance with pertinent laws, the Joint Committee conducted the canvass bound by a single purpose, to ensure that the results reflect the will of the electorate, and that the mantles of leadership over the Republic are entrusted indubitably on those whom they have freely chosen as President and Vice President of our Republic. In full view of the public, with all opportunities given to every party concerned to present their positions and questions before the Joint Committee, the canvass proceeded smoothly and was concluded in record time. I repeat, in record time, unimpeded by glitches or unresolved questions. In this light, Mr. Speaker, the report of the Joint Committee contains the full and faithful record of the proceedings of the national canvass and the resolution of both houses to proclaim the newly elected President and Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines embodies the true results of the canvass of votes of candidates for President and Vice President. Under the premises, Mr. Speaker, I recommend for the approval of the House the Joint Committee report on the canvass of votes of candidates for President and Vice President in the May 9, 2016 elections, and the resolution of both Houses proclaiming Rodrigo Duterte as the duly elected President and Lenny Robredo as the duly elected Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines.
The Majority Leader of the Senate, Senator Cayetano, is recognized.
Mr. President, there being no other member of the Senate who wishes to deliver a speech for and behalf of any presidential or vice presidential candidate, we now proceed to vote on the report and the accompanying resolution. On the part of the Senate, I move for the approval of the report of the Joint Committee and adoption of the accompanying resolution of both Houses, Resolution Number 1.
Distinguished members of the Senate, there is a motion by Majority Leader Cayetano to approve the report of the Joint Committee and adopt the accompanying resolution of both Houses Number 1. As many as are in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those who are against, please say nay. The ayes have it. By unanimous vote of the Senate, the report is hereby approved, and the resolution of both Houses Number 1 is hereby adopted on the part of the Senate.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I understand that the distinguished gentleman from Abacada, the Honorable Jonathan Boy La Cruz, wishes to deliver a speech for a particular candidate, and under our rules, he is given 5 minutes, Mr. Speaker.
The representative of the Abacada party list is hereby given 5 minutes to deliver a speech.
Our people to join us in the continuing search for truth, not only about the recently concluded elections, although that is what most of our people have been urging us to inquire into, but also the travails and challenges facing our benighted country as the second Aquino administration bows out of office. There will be more than enough time to scrutinize and audit the claims of this outgoing daang matuwid kung walang korap, walang mahirap administration, especially since we look forward to President-elect Rodrigo Duterte's initiatives to bring to fruition what he advised our countrymen in the course of the campaign. Change is coming, a change we all can believe in. So we will have to focus on the issues and concerns we raised during this campaign. As the good book says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. God will bring into judgment both the righteous and the wicked, for there will be time for every activity, a time to judge every deed. And so for today, with the indulgence of the body, may I be allowed to bring to its attention the affirmation of a cause I have no doubt we are all for and should be part of. This is not a call for another round of recriminations or divisive comments, of rancor in our hearts. Instead, this is a call for renewal, an exhortation for patriotic endeavor. Partisan feelings must now yield to patriotic duty. What remains of that will now have to yield to a united effort to correct the infirmities of our electoral processes, as we have witnessed since 2008, when we first experimented with automated elections, to the 2010 presidential contest, to the 2013 midterm elections, and now to this recently concluded one. Clearly, the system as we know it and as implemented in the past 3 automated elections by the COMELEC and its technology partner, a company now known as Smart Magic, has been shown to be vulnerable to external interference. It is vulnerable to rigging and manipulations. No less than former COMELEC chairman Christian Monsod has emphatically noted that the concerns raised in the May elections by lots of parties, including those who run under the administration party, have seriously damaged the integrity of the entire automated election system. We have outlined, Mr. Speaker and Mr. Senate President, in broad strokes what we believe are the telltale signs of such vulnerabilities, and we will, in the course of time and at the right venue, prove to one and all that such indeed have engendered questionable results and unimaginable negative consequences. But as I noted earlier, there will be a time and a place to bring these issues to the fore. For now, partisanship must yield to patriotism. And so, as I greet the soon-to-be-proclaimed winners and wish them well as they take over the reins of government, let there be no doubt, while I strongly disagree with the National Board of Canvassers count, I accept it. We accept it. I accept the finality of the count, which will now be ratified by the joint session. And so for the sake of our country, our unity as a people, and the strength of our democracy, I offer our congratulations and Godspeed. But for the sake of all those who believe in Senator Marcos and the causes she advocated, unity in diversity, an end to divisiveness and vengeance, inclusive growth and justice for all, in the course of the campaign. In short, the gentleman from Ilocos Norte ran as he spiritedly did to uplift the standing of every common man and woman, the humble members of society, to whom we must now dedicate our call for progress and justice. But Mr. Speaker, Mr. Senate President, before we can even make that first step for progress and justice for all, it is incumbent upon me, as the campaign advisor of Senator Marcos, to ask the questions which more than 14 million Filipinos who voted for him have long wanted to be answered by all concerned, including members of this joint session, in as truthful and responsible manner as we can. I have no doubt these are the same questions which every single Filipino who cares for our country and our people, even those who did not vote for Senator Marcos, would like to be truthfully answered as well. First, what is the COMELEC doing about the complaints of vote buying and similar electoral offenses which were reported before, during, and even after the May 9 voting? Has the COMELEC sanctioned the parties involved in open buying, including those that were part of a viral video in Piquet, North Cotabato? Second, is the COMELEC aware that this resolution exempting the handing down of a number of government works and projects during the election period from the enumerated prohibitions such as the CCT, PhilHealth, BUB, and others was used as a carte blanche by administrator operators to openly and capriciously buy the loyalty and, of course, the votes of the unsuspecting recipients? Third, has the COMELEC taken hold of the spending done in ads and campaign operations by the candidates, especially those running for national positions, which may have breached the levels specified under the rules? Fourth, did the COMELEC, as it is its bounden duty, comply with all the testing and sealing rules, as well as the get-go safeguard rules, prior to issuing the authority for the entire system to be operated? I am told there were a host of issues and concerns which remained unanswered and which now need to be answered as the system's vulnerabilities are exposed. Even as the COMELEC, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Senate President, was still struggling with the innumerable technical challenges in the automated election system 2016 version, including the no bio, no voto, and the hacking of its system prior to the voting, the body must now answer a lot of questions associated with the voting itself. Did the COMELEC give Congress and the public later the complete list of the serial numbers associated with the 92,000 vote counting machines deployed nationwide? How many of these malfunctioned on election day? Where? When? What was done with these malfunctioning machines? I am told that in one province alone, in Camarines Sur, more than 90 vote counting machines malfunctioned on election day. Which machines were these? What happened to these machines? What about the reports on the consolidated canvassing servers? There are reports that 30 such servers from various parts of the country were bundled and sent to the Santa Rosa warehouse of Smartmatic. Which servers are these? Why were these bundled and shipped to Santa Rosa? What happened in Santa Rosa? Were these machines eventually used? If so, for what and when? Just this morning, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Senate President, 3 whistleblowers publicly stated that there was a rogue canvassing center in Quezon, which ostensibly intercepted the results and consolidated the same and dispute this out with controversial results. Again, this must be looked into. Did the COMELEC account for the 2,800 other machines retrieved from the 2013 exercise, which were supposedly set aside, but which some sectors are now claiming were actually used this time around? Early on, in the course of voting on May 9, and immediately after and during transmission, reports that a certain Marlon Garcia, the Venezuelan technical director of Smartmatic, on his own and without any express authority from the COMELEC and bank, changed the script of the PPCRB transparency server over a minor matter, allegedly a cosmetic change, but which IT experts now charge impacted on the entire automated election system. This has embroiled the COMELEC and Smartmatic in a controversy which has inevitably put into question the integrity of the system and the election results. This has prompted me and the Marcos campaign to request the COMELEC to conduct a thorough systems and platform audit to clear the air. We had wanted, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Senate President, the audit undertaken prior to the congressional canvass. Unfortunately, COMELEC decided otherwise, but we continue to urge that such audit be undertaken, as studies show that indeed that move by Garcia, the same Garcia who has monkeyed with the 2008, 2010, and 2013 elections through a similar ruse, cosmetic change, has impacted heavily on the integrity of the system. This audit has become even more critical with the now impending proclamation of the winners in the presidential and vice presidential contest to ensure that no iota of doubt, no cloud of apprehension can be handed over to the mandate being given to the top 2 officials of the land. This has even become more necessary in the case of the vice presidential race because of the extremely slim margin between the top two candidates. We note, for example, that the 260,000 vote lead of Representative Robredo can be easily overtaken if the system audit, which will presumably require a look at the election returns themselves, show that indeed a number of things changed after that questionable Venezuelan strike. If the body will allow, I will be happy to read for the record a good example of the end results after that strike. Due to these unquestionably illegal acts, I have decided, ladies and gentlemen, to file cases against Garcia, Eli Moreno, and Smartmatic.
Yeah.
Smartmatic, Mr. Speaker, just give me...
Gentleman has 1 minute.
Just 2 more minutes, Mr. Speaker. Smartmatic has become such a monstrous presence in the implementation of the EES, and that is the reason why we will urge the incoming administration not to blacklist this particular company from any participation in our electoral system. For example, This is what Smart has done, as reported in certain quarters. It has set up several rogue consolidated canvassing service centers nationwide without COMELEC's express approval. Was the transport of 30 CCS machines to Santa Rosa ostensibly for repair and recalibration part of this rogue system? Is it also true that there is a super CCS which Spark Magic has set up somewhere in the Metro Manila area, which at some point during the transmission of results from the various BCMs took over the entire task of consolidation? Is this the reason why we had systems problems at 7:30 in the evening of May 9 and also at 10 o'clock and thereafter and the election day itself of May 9? There is also the problem of the unaccounted votes. And this is one problem that we will now have to look into, Mr. Speaker.